So that was maybe the second temple in the United States, New York, and then maybe Buffalo, and some places like that. It was one of the very first temples. I think it was Mukunda especially invited Prabhupada to come, from New York. Prabhupada was pioneering Paschatya Deshitaryanan. So he established a temple there. First deities may have been Jagannath. And of course there's a whole story about how Shamasundar carved them from railroad ties. And I was there for Jari one time. And then later, they had Gornatai made out of paper mache. Okay. And those were replaced by marble deities carved in Jaipur. Kalakendri Motiwala, Vijarake Rastre. And I think they're the same Motiwalas who did Gornatai in Los Angeles and also Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan. So very nice. And then later, Radha, Gokulananda, there were three deities that were carved from maybe the same mold. Radha Madhava in Mayapur, Gokulananda in Boston, in Montreal. And then Radha Gokulananda. So anyway, I joined at some point along here there and was initiated in 74 and 1975. So the Papa came for the Rath Yatra. And I think I'd seen him before in Los Angeles in a general program like that. I first got his book. I got the book. Somebody's distributing books somehow or other. Just, so many ways you can find ways to get them out. And then I was reading it and had a tremendous impression. So I didn't know I was directly associating with Prabhupada, directly. But I didn't know that exactly. But yeah, I was having all these unusual experiences with the book. My God. Yeah. And so then eventually I began to understand, besides Krishna, there's Guru. Right? Besides Jehovah, there's Jesus. Right? Yeah. God is love. You ever hear that from Christian people? Yeah. When Korean church in Silicon Valley had a gigantic thing by the freeway that says God is love. Well, yeah, but then maybe we should get into some details. So in 1975.
Can I keep it?
You can do that. Yes, sir. Okay, now we're broadcasting. One time, Srila Prabhupada says, I'm talking into the microphone, and the sound is going around the world 6 times in 1 second. How fast is that? I calculated. It's the speed of light. So Swami Prabhupada does know about science. Many things we don't think he knows. Yeah. So anyway, now when we're broadcasting, who knows who's listening? Yeah. So 1975, I was initiated by then. I was initiated. Yeah, 74. So, but just getting involved and stuff, and I hadn't taken second initiation yet, and so forth, so on. So 75, Srila Prabhupada came to San Francisco for the Rath Yatra, and somehow or other we moved from San Francisco across the bay to Berkeley, where the temple is, which some controversial things, 2334 Stewart Street. Remember the zip code? 95702 or something like that. Yeah. So it was a Mormon church before. Before it was a cornfield, then it was a Mormon church, and the Mormons showed it to the church of something or other. It was kind of a small church. Then we bought it, and it was being developed. And it was when Prabhupada came, and we just moving in, and was a whole kind of like controversial thing because Berkeley at that time was very communistic and a lot of revolutionary spirit to it and stuff. And the Hare Krishnas were, kind of couldn't understand who we were. Are you a cult? Are you, whatever, So a lot of stuff happening. And then Prabhupada came there, and there was a news conference, Swamiji, and I was there, And so I heard, Prabhupada says one should act as he hears from the lips of his spiritual master. Joy. That's a real challenge. Yeah. The Ritviks and other people and stuff. Okay, and Prabhupada says one should act as he hears from the lips of his spiritual master. So what does spiritual master mean? There's all kinds. Somebody who just tries to give you advice to get on the pathway to get initiated can be an alcoholic. I know one devotee. I said, my name is Bob W. and I'm an alcoholic. As in years, but you still introduce yourself, right, as an alcoholic. And so anyway, he's got so many people, right, to come to the temple. So he's Vartmana Guru. He's showing the path, Then Diksha Guru is the person who initiated according to the formality. Any Bengalis here? Yari Deke Tari Kaha Krishna Upadesh Amar Agnai Guru Han Tare Desh. On my order, Amar Agnai Guru Han. You become Guru. And sometimes it's translated as deliver your circle, deliver your community. Okay, very important verse. So Lord Chaitanya is making all of us, if we're coming in this movement, Lord Chaitanya is ordering us to become Guru, and just tell people about Krishna based upon his instructions, his Upadesh. So when the reporter asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, what will happen to your movement when you die? Okay. And Prabhupada very strongly said, I will never die. I will live forever in my books. Okay, yeah. Okay? You heard that? Yeah. Simple. Yeah. Then you have to know me. Right? Hansaduta, one of Prabhupada's very, very senior disciples in many ways, Treya Rishi, another senior disciple, he said, of all my GBC Gabbalers, Hansaduta is probably the most intelligent. But he said, it's not his intelligence I worry about, it's his morality. And he was self-confessed amoral. He grew up with his family at the end of World War II, and he came to the conclusion you can't trust authorities 100%. They say there's bread for everybody. No, you got to watch out. And he would steal some bread for his family and divide it and stuff. And so he developed, a certain attitude about ethics and morality. So one time in the beginning of the movement, they had a program going in New York or something, and they bought an old abandoned bowling alley, and they were going through and cleaning the whole place up and going to put a temple there. And then people coming for the Sunday feast. And so Kirtanananda was in charge. And his rule was that the devotees could only have one gulabjamam each. That was the rule, only one gulabjamam each. The rest were for the guests. So the kirtan was over and Sunday feast was kind of going on. And Hansaduta said, he told me this, he asked Kirtanananda, can I have a second gulabjamam? And he said, no. So Hansaduta said, look, I'm going to walk over there to Prabhupada. I'm going to ask Swamiji if I can have a second gulabjamam. And I'm going to ask him if I can have two more. And he'll say yes. So he walked across the room and the program was going on. And Kirtananda's watching. And he asked Prabhupada, would you like some kirtan? And Prabhupada said, yeah. So I didn't have that much physical association with Srila Prabhupada. But I had association with Jayananda, Hansaduta, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami, and those three people principally, because I knew them. I would travel on with the roads. I slept on the same bed with Bhakti Swarup Damodar. There were like 6 of us in the room, and the 2 senior guys who got to share the bed, a motel. So I knew him, and I knew Hansaduta. So Hansaduta said, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that. Okay, so you got to know the first lens, right? You know what it is. You know what kind of spherical aberration it has, what kind of chromatic aberration it has. So that's for us in ISKCON. That's Prabhupada. In the Parampara, Prabhupada is the right. And can you know him? Can you get a good understanding of who he is? Yeah, there's so many resources, no? So many people can tell you about him. Okay. And then, like the reporter said, now you're hearing this from me, I will never die, I'll live forever in my books. I think it was Bhakti Bringa Maharaj. What's his name? Ayodhyapati. Maybe something like about 7, 8 years ago, he had to renew his visa in India. And anybody knows that if you're going to try and renew your American visa in India, this is a process extending over thousands and millions of lifetimes, if you know Indian, right? Indian bureaucracy. So anyway, he came from Vrindavan, he got to Delhi, then he found out the general place, and he found out the building, then he found out the department, and he finally went into one room, and there's, papers stacked up from the British Raja on the place, and people behind their desks and stuff, and somebody said that guy, and went over, and some young guy, maybe like 21 or 22 or something, was working away, stamping stuff. And he came there and he looked up at it. He said, "Oh, yes, what do you want?" And he said, "I'm so-and-so with ISKCON. I need to renew my visa." It's about 8 years, you know. And they said, "Well, okay, sit down. You know. And he started asking him questions. Do you have a bank account? Have you done this? Have you done that? And this and that and everything else, you know. He said, "Okay, you got to get this form signed. You got to go here, do this." And he was thinking this is going to take like, you know, probably at least, you know. At least, yeah. Some secret message. Yeah. Huh?
Divya is running too.
I was wondering because he wasn't responding.
She wanted a live link.
No, I was wondering if you're going mad or something because you're talking. No, I couldn't see anybody responding. I was wondering. Yeah. So anyway, he thought this is going to take at least 3 or 4 days, you know, to go to find these offices and everything else. And the boy could see what's happening, you know, young man. So he said, "Look, I'll help you." So he locked the door up. Then he took him off, right? And, you know, they took him up these back stairways and all this kind of stuff. Watch out, that stair's loose and stuff, you know. So a lot of, what's the thing? Sit down and don't move. You're going to be moving here and there. Yeah. So he took him. Hey, Rajiv, you got to take care of. I have so much to do, Supal. No, I helped you tell. Okay, you know. So basically, in 45 minutes, they got the whole thing finished. This is a totally true story. You know? So he came back to the boy's desk, and he's finishing everything off. You know. Then he says, "You know, one year ago, I was so unhappy. You know, this was like 7, 8 years ago. I was so unhappy. Who am I? What am I supposed to do with life?" And he said, "Then I got, you know, your Prabhupada's, you know, Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I started reading it, and everything has become so clear. You know." So when I saw you here, and that you're, you know, member of ISKCON and one of Prabhupada's disciples, you know, then I thought, that's why I had to help you so much, you know. Do you think if I wrote to Srila Prabhupada, he would answer?
Now?
That's what he asked Maharaj. I'm asking you, now you're Maharaj and I'm the boy. Do you think if I wrote to Srila Prabhupada, he would answer?
Probably not. No, I'm kidding.
Well, why not?
Yes, he would answer.
He would answer?
7 years ago.
7 years ago?
Yeah.
Then no, he cannot write you back.
Well, why not?
That's his body.
Yeah, that's the reaction the boy had. He just started crying. Yeah, so he had a complete, and everybody in the office is wondering what's happened, so and so. He had a completely, you know, personal relationship with Pai, intimate relationship and stuff. You can imagine, you see somebody, you see they've got this, and you just, oops, I have to break the news to this guy, you know, yeah. So, you know, that's what I'm telling you, and I've experienced this, yeah, Prabhupada's there. You read his books and everything else, have some service attitude, right? What happens? Yeah. You get a completely personal connection. Okay, same time, Prabhupada said, anybody who chants Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas, Adi, Gaura Bhaktivinoda, and follows it with Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Right. Has achieved the perfection of life. Again, I heard this, you know. But if you want to preach, you should probably read my books. Yeah, okay. So very, very clear process. You know. And that's the essence of our whole process, is chanting Hare Krishna. Hansaduta told me that one time he was driving Prabhupada in India and talking about things, and I think he, something about, how do we go now? Prabhupada, your books are so wonderful, this and that and so forth, so on. Then Prabhupada said, if you can, he said, no, when Prabhupada asked him, why do you think I wrote all these books? And he was giving reasons and this and that, and Prabhupada said, no, I wrote all these books to convince you to chant Hare Krishna. If you're convinced to chant Hare Krishna, you don't have to read any of my books. Yeah. But then he said he realized at that point he wasn't convinced. He would take shelter of his mind. He would take shelter of so many things, you know, social etiquette, you know. So Prabhupada's books, but the real thing is, at any time, priority, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. Who kills demons in Vrindavan? Huh? Only Krishna? Balaram? Anybody else? Huh? Who? Radharani doesn't kill any demons. You got to speak from the Krishna book. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, in Vrindavan, only in Krishna. This is what I realized in the Brajmana Parikram. In Vrindavan, only Krishna and Balaram kill demons. Yeah. Everybody else chants Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. And then sometimes, yeah, Krishna will empower you. He'll empower you to do something. You maybe have this experience too, and you realize, I didn't do that. You know? And afterwards, everybody's, even the demons, and everybody, yeah, cool, yeah. So it's not, Krishna did that. It's absolute. One time there was one boy, Bhakta Frank or something. He was up in Telegraph Avenue hanging out. And, he was all this whole street scene there. So one morning I was coming out of the Berkeley Temple room into the lobby. It's about maybe twice the size. And there were like 6 brahmacharis there, and he was there, and he had no shirt on, something over. I think he was coming down from LSD or something, And he was saying all these blasphemous stuff about Prabhupada. And he knew the philosophy and everything else to really say things. And these 6 brahmacharis were just about ready to kill the guy, And so I walked out there, and there's the door into this president's office, the hallway. He was standing there, and just spontaneously, with no forethought whatsoever, I dropped down, got him right in the solar plexus as my shoulder, bounced him off the wall. He fell on the floor. I kept walking, and the brahmacharis tossed him out. And after about 4 hours, he came back crying and everything else, and I was crazy, please forgive me, and so on, But again, it was just, he never even talked to me about it. It was just like, yeah, that was the good. So Prabhupada says sometimes we have to use violence, but unless you do it properly, there'll be a bad taste afterwards for everybody. But if you do it properly, then it's everybody, even the demons. Say, yeah, that's cool. yeah, but next time, yeah. So, Prabhupada's books, then, if you want to preach, we should probably read his books. And you can take that as simply as just reading them. I'm going to preach, right? You open the book up and you start reading. And I know people do that. They just sit down and start reading, and they get a following. People start showing up. Yeah. Or else you can read them and digest them and repeat them. So right here we have Upadeshamrita. Haribol! Oh, okay. I remember this is some teacher taught me. You open up like this, right? So okay, yeah. This is glue binding for the BBT. This is 1/4 legal size paper, by the way. If you fold legal size paper, you get this size here. Okay, yeah. The Nectar of Instruction, His Divine Grace, who? What is Prabhupada's position in ISKCON? Founder Acharya. Yeah. Oh, he's the only Diksha guru for the next 10,000 years. I mean, there's all these things, right? But he was, when every paper he said that goes out from our society must have this on it. And if people didn't do it, he would get heavy with them. You want to take your spiritual master's position? I mean, yeah, he was like, never do that again. Yeah. No, he was heavy. He was heavy about that. So he made it clear. And in every book, before you open the cover, you know who is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. He's the founder and the Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Okay, Nectar Instruction. Okay, an authorized English presentation of Sri Rupa Goswami Sri Upadeshamrita. Then has a preface. Okay, it's good. What's in a preface? What's in the preface of a book? Any scholars here? Huh?
Qualification of the writer?
I told you that. Yeah. Huh?
Qualification of the reader?
Circumstances in which it was
Huh?
written. Circumstances in which the book was written.
The circumstances under which the book was written.
What is the book about?
And the purpose of the book. That's from one Reader's Guide to Literature. That's where I got it. It was some, Reader's Guide, Writer's Guide. What is the purpose of the book? Under what circumstances was it produced? What are the qualifications of the author? What are the qualifications expected of the students? My name is Bob Smith, and I am a high school teacher in Middle City, Kansas, the United States of America. And in 1957, we discovered there was no good book on analytical geometry. No good book on analytical geometry, so the high school students could take calculus. So in the following year with myself and my students, we wrote this book as an introduction, analytical geometry as an introduction to calculus. That's a preface. And so then the introduction actually introduces the content, So Prabhupada in the preface is only, two and a half pages. So actually right here, the preface is finished. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, preface is finished right here, and the introduction starts, and he introduces the first verse like that and so on, He says here, okay, okay. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami. Huh? You become Goswami? Yeah, you have to. Prahlad became a Goswami. Yeah. Unless you become a Goswami, we're going to throw you off the hills, have elephants stamp on you, and dogs eat you. Better become a Goswami. Okay. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Upadeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Yeah. Rupa Goswami has given many other books, such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Prabhupada mentions this many times, Vidagdha Madhava, and you got it. Okay. But Upadeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. How many neophyte devotees here? Okay, what are your first instructions? Okay, you learned something tonight. I'm trying to sell the book. So it's a very, 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 the devotees hired one British devotees hired some British people, advertising agency, to tell them how to spread Krishna consciousness. Okay. And they looked at our literature and everything else, and they said, the book that you have, which is the best for introducing people to your culture, is your Nectar of Instruction. Because it includes everything. In the beginning, Prabhupada starts off talking about Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Who's that? What are Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Bengali Vaishnavas. Yeah, I give classes, university, and I draw a map of India. I put Bengal, Delhi, okay. Oh, okay, Then I put Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Then I say there's 3 different S's in Sanskrit, and there's Shri. So please pronounce this. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And the whole class goes, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And I say, thank you. What's happened? Their material life is finished, right? In an unoffensive stage, they've said the name of Lord Chaitanya. So it's like, you can never get away now. Fooled you. I don't know, I won't. You said it, But I hate him. No, you don't hate him. Yeah. So it starts off with Bengali Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and then it goes in. Prabhupada says every single house should have a copy of this book in America. And I was thinking, but it's so advanced. And when the devotee asked Prabhupada, I said, it's so advanced. And he said, no, it starts with sense control, right? What's the first verse? Anybody know the Sanskrit for the first verse? Just raise your hand, don't say it. Okay, what is it there? First verse. Bhakti Shastri. Actually, maybe. Yeah. What does Vegam mean? What does Vegam mean? What does Vegam mean? Huh? Oh God, okay. Yeah, it means push. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam. Yeah, there's a desire to talk, pushes of the mind, pushes of the body, the senses, like that. 6 pushes. And you find these all over the place. King Solomon, everybody else is talking about the same stuff. Okay. I was reading the Southwest Airlines Travelers magazine. In the back it said, the average man produces 2,000 words a day. The average woman produces 7,000. Yeah. But I know from studying science But the problem was not in measuring how much the average woman speaks, but was in finding the average woman. Okay. Yeah. Statistics. Yeah. But yeah, everybody has. Yeah. You explain the joke now. Yeah. Everybody has their nature. So he starts off with that basic things. Pretty much the first 4 or 5 verses, they apply to anybody and anything. It's really only when you get to verse 1, 2, 3, 4, verse number 5, that is specifically applying to religious people, Hare Krishnas. Before that, you'll find Socrates, Shakespeare, Confucius, everybody talking about the same thing. Confucius said, one should make sure mind is engaged before tongue is in motion. Yeah. And Confucius said, when you go for revenge, Krodavegam, when you go for revenge, better to dig 2 graves first. Understand the grasshopper? Yeah. So this wisdom, first part is a lot of very good wisdom. And then text number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starts to talk about, how these things work in terms of devotees. Kanistadakari, Majjimadakari, Uttamadakari. And then text number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 talks about how to apply them with Uttamadakari specifically. Then 7 and 8, he goes back to the process, to chant Hare Krishna, worship the deity, come to Mangalartik, associate with devotees, Nama Rupa Chariti. And this will liberate you from the material world. Text number 8, then this will take you to Goloka, because you can engage in Raganuga Bhakti. Explain that. Text number 9, I think, goes back to geography. What is Goloka? There's better than the kingdom of God is Vaikuntaj Janito Vara. Better than Mathura. Yeah, even though it's situated in the material world, it is superior to Vaikunta. Yeah. And then, superior, more intense? The forests. And more intense than them? And more intense than that? And more intense than that? Lord Chaitanya covered Ramananda's Roy's mouth. He was going higher and higher, and then Ramananda Roy said, but there's something more intense than Radharani's affection and separation from Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya covered his mouth. Yeah. Jagadananda was sitting there with Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya was talking about glorifying Lord Chaitanya as God and all these kind of things, And then Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, don't talk about me like that. I'm just an ordinary sannyasi, this and that." And Jagadananda is like doing this, he's sitting outside, And Lord Chaitanya says, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm covering the sun with my hand." Yeah, you're an ordinary sannyasi, sure. Yeah, we'll go on. And I'll cover the sun with my hand, Anybody with half a brain who knows who you are. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, then text number 10 goes back to the different kinds of association. You can start off with V-karmis. What are V-karmis? What's a karmi? It starts off with karmis, and the purport Prabhupada adds V-karmis. What's a karmi? You there, what's a karmi?
Somebody who's doing activities for material purposes.
Yeah, wow, that's good. Okay, he gets your title now. Yeah, karmi is somebody who engages in some fruitive activity. A karmi really is somebody who follows the rules and regulations, and Jesus Christ loves them, and Krishna loves them, because they follow the rules and regulations to get what they want. And it says that, they're dear to Krishna in the Bible too. Nice story about how Jesus loved him. And Prabhupada backs it up a little bit to V-karmis. So you there in the closet, what are V-karmis?
Those who don't follow the rules and regulations to get what they want.
Yeah, the karmis, they want to give things, but they'll do any old damn thing to get it. Okay, so Prabhupada explains it. So he goes V-karmis, karmis, and what's a jnani? Huh? What's a jnani? Huh? Philosophical. He's gone beyond just doing activities for results. He's starting to think about how things happen. And then he talks about vimukti karmis, vimukti jnanis. Their wisdom is taken to the point where they're detached. And so many people like that. Socrates, Okay. Then after that, then you become bahunam jamanam mante. Then you become a devotee. Yeah. Bhaktas, okay. Braja Bhaktas, okay, Gopi Bhaktas, Radha Bhaktas, okay, yeah. So everything is there, right? Every single kind of consciousness you can encounter from Vikarmis all the way up to Radharani. And then he kicks in. So if you want to find, okay, any lawyers here? Okay. Once upon a time, there was, you know, lawyer jokes. There's 40,000 lawyer jokes, right? Yeah. Once upon a time, there was a couple, you know this one. They were going to a wedding, and then both of them died on the way to the wedding. So you ended up at the pearly gates, and St. Peter was there, and they're talking, and they say, St. Peter, we were just about to be married, and we had this automobile accident. We both died. Could we get married in heaven? And St. Peter said, okay, stay here, I'll just stay here. So after 1 hour, St. Peter came back with a priest, okay, And they said, while you were gone, St. Peter, we were talking about it, and we realized, my God, if we get married in heaven, it seems like it may be forever, Can you get divorced in heaven? And St. Peter said, look, it took me 1 hour to find a priest in heaven. How long do you think it's going to take me to find a lawyer in heaven? Yeah. So anyway, so that's the end. That's relation. That's the end of verse number 10, because he goes up to Radharani, and where are you going to find Radharani? Where are you going to find a priest? Where are you going to find a lawyer? Okay, yeah. Radhakund, yeah. And then in verse number 11, then he talks about, of all the gopis, and he emphasizes that Radhakund is, how's it go? Radhakund, Radhakundam, huh?
Krishnasya pranayavasati prema.
No, yeah. And the verse within that is cited many times. Radhakundam yata radha Vishno's priya tata. Again.
Yata radha priya Vishnor tata kundam priyastata sarva ekeka
Sarvaika. Yeah, okay, let's find it here. See, that's good because all the verses in here are verses that are used again and again. And what? Well, right here, back here, choose an index. Okay? Yata? Is it yata? You paid for it, might as well use it. Okay. It's not here. Is it yata or tata? Okay. Tishtan, Utsan, okay. It's not here. Okay. The page 88? Okay. That's a nice verse, nice number. I'll remember that. If you see I'll remember that, then probably you will. It's a tick. There it is. Please repeat. Yata Radha Priya Vishnos. Yata Radha Priya Vishnos. Tashya Kundam Priyam Tata. Sarva Gopishu Saivaika. Vishnur Atyanta Balaba. This is a quotation from the Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Uttarakhanda 45, as quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just as Srimati Radharani is dear to the Supreme Lord Krishna, Vishnu, so her bathing place, Radhakund, is equally dear to Krishna. Among all the gopis, she alone stands supreme as the Lord's most beloved. And you see this then being cited other places like that and so on. So it's kind of Upadeshamrita, right? We've gone through the whole thing, 11 verses, but it includes everything. If you follow all the citations, you'll have an incredible study guide. All the citations will take you to different things in the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. If you just know the Bhagavad Gita verses quoted in here, very, very nice selection. Yeah. So, koi prashna, Hanji. Okay. Yes. Yeah. May Hindi Shikh Rahahu. Kripaya cigarette mat piji ega. Okay. I know enough just to get in trouble. Yeah. Okay. What is your good name?
My name is Anuradha Devidasi.
Anuradha. Wow. Okay. Okay, yeah.
So when this verse that you just now read, it's Vishnu and Radha, not usually heard of the combination.
Yeah.
And also similarly when we say Vrindai Tulsi Devai, there also we are saying Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi. These things, it's like, can you just put some light on both of it?
Yeah, some people, Vindai Tulsi Devai, Priyaya Kesha Vachacha, Vishnu Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti. It became a big controversy in ISKCON and
Still is.
political forces, So, what's his name? Dinabandhu. I heard Dinabandhu Das. You know him? Yeah. I heard Dinabandhu Das in Vrindavan say, Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi Satya Bhasi Namo Namaha. So, you want to fight with Dinabandhu in Vrindavan, you go do it. Yeah. No. It's perspective. They're both true. What is the name of the chief executive officer of the United States of America? What is the name of the president of the United States of America? Huh? Yeah, but what does his wife call him in the White House when she's angry at him? Mr. President, Donald. Yeah, I mean she may have
Different name.
they have confidential names.
That's theoretically, but what I was just wondering what Srila Prabhupada.
One time in Los Angeles I've heard was Jaya Tirtha wanted to dress the Radha Rukmini Dwarkadish in a certain way, and another lady wanted to dress him in another way, and they took it and they were starting to be controversial. They took it to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, "This is a matter of taste. I am not going to get involved." Yeah. So yeah, there are different perspectives, time, place, and everything else. Yeah. Or what are we after? Personally, we're after Krishna Bhakti or Vishnu Bhakti, really. Yeah. How do the gopis address Krishna in ordinary village affairs when the superiors and everybody else is there? Right? They're oh, Krishna, yeah, whatever, yeah. And so in different times than the Vedas and everything else, yeah. Is Krishna an incarnation of Vishnu or is Vishnu an incarnation of Krishna? Yeah, even Krishna's not sure. Yeah. He tries to convince the cowherd boys that he's God. He shows them the Virat Roop, right? And they say, wow, that's really great trick. Did Nanda Maharaj show you how to do that? Can you teach us how to do that? And then so Krishna cannot convince the cowherd boys that he's God, right? So after a while he begins to wonder, maybe I'm not God. Yeah. If you want things to be clear, you should worship Jehovah or Allah, yeah, okay, or Vishnu or Narayan, yeah. But Krishna, yeah. So, I think to my inclination is Krishna Bhakti, and it was. I think the only authoritative source they have are going to be songbooks and stuff like that, and even the songbooks, they're songbooks and stuff. So you find different versions and editions and so on. Even, coming down from our acharyas even. Yeah, you see Prabhupada singing songs. Keshavadrita haladara rupa, Keshavadrita baladeva rupa. Yeah, he says both. Yeah. Okay. Dusure prashna. Oh, hey, Hanji.
This morning, Maharaj, you were saying that how many verses
you
need to know. I don't think you said, it said mostly some people say seven, but I don't think you ever said how many really.
No, there's no real thing. See, because you read Prabhupada's books, right? And he'll quote something, right? And you go on, he'll quote something else. How many times in Prabhupada's purports does he quote from the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, even in Chaitanya Charitamrita and everything else, because Bhagavad Gita is one of the three Vedic sources for all substantiation. So the question is, if you're reading along, and Prabhupada's going to quote one verse, okay, how many verses do you have to know so there's a 75% chance that you'll know the next verse? So basically, how big is the collection, the basic collection of verses that Prabhupada's quoting, how many? And I'm asking sannyasis, everybody else, and it usually comes back about 50, 60, 70. Yeah. Because sometimes with Bhakti by Baba, Bhakti Vedanta, you have all these verses you're supposed to memorize, you know. And, yeah, okay, memorize them one time, pass the test, and then, but some of them, you know, so Upadeshamrita, all the ones, a lot of it, in our, my God, okay, now this is really a stupid way to do this right now. you put the water glass in front of, so it's like you did it on purpose, subconsciously. You want to humiliate me. I know you subconsciously. I don't know. Anyway, here you go. Put this one. Put the table where the person can see it. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, this is the book we did. I only want to do one book. This is it. Tava Pache Pache. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Doyar Sagar, Edase Koruna Kori. That song is glorifying Upadeshamrita. Daya Tava Pache Pache. I'm running behind you, chanting Krishna, Krishna. Okay, so this is afterwards, Nectar instruction. Damodar Maharaja has waves of devotion, which is really great, illuminating nectar of devotion. And Prabhupada said I'd had to do this quickly, and so many things. So it's kind of the same thing for Upadeshamrita. And we go through verse by verse. It has an anvaya, which puts the words in an English word order, right? The word by word, but they're in English word order. And so when you read them, then the verse translation is correct. We have a list of all the verses that are cited, and we try and give the references where you can find them. Here it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is also cited, so I hope that we have then where in Chaitanya Charitamrita again. So your question, we find what was key. Yeah.
But I was curious about what that verse number was, but if I'm hearing you correctly, about 50.
Yeah, that number. Yeah. So okay, so if you just know the verses that are cited in Upadeshamrita, I mean, basically speaking, you probably can get your Bhakti Sarvabhauma diploma. You won't get it with a high score, but that's, because there's so many verses, and those will take you to other verses. So it becomes a fantastic study guide. Whenever you look up the verses and you'll see big purport, this is not just some verse. These are the verses the acharyas use to establish all these basic points. And so again, it was just like people estimating. So really, if you know like about 50 or 60 verses, and I don't know how many are cited in Upadeshamrita, and then, you'll know, almost all the, and sometimes Prabhupada will cite some esoteric verse from the Yamala Brahma Tantra or something, which is probably coming from Bhakti Siddhanta or, somebody like that, or even some non-existent verse from the so-and-so Purana doesn't exist anymore, So it's like, whatever your nature is. So it's about 50 verses, it's good to know. The
last verse talks about by taking bath in Radha Kund.
Oh, yeah.
One's love for Krishna.
It's all explained in here. Okay, yeah.
So what's the correct understanding of that? Is that literally just take bath, or is there preconditions apply, certain modes is needed, certain practices needed before?
Let's see. Sanskrit English word order. Okay. What have we got here? Appendices. Okay, text 11. Okay. It says here. Got a monkey there, right? There's a whole story behind that. Okay, text 11. Again, people often ask this question. I bathed in Radha Kund, but my full love in the mood of the gopis did not develop. Why? Is that your question?
Yes.
Okay. Buy the book. Yeah. This is and it's available on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, And then we recommend right away, they won't do this on Amazon, go in and have it chopped at Office Max and spiral bound, because then you can just lay it open and stuff, okay. And also we just got it now, not to use authority, available on Kindle, which for me is great because traveling and everything else, and I want to use it myself, whatever, so it's available on Kindle now too. Only $5. How much do we get at that $5? How much do we get?
$1.50 or something.
That's pretty good. That's good. Yeah, so we get it. No, I could live with that. I mean, they're producing they produce it, they distribute it, and everything else, they advertise it. Yeah, I can live on that. The sannyasis are, we are, what is it? We're marginal potency, right? Right? So we get $1.50, and sannyasis are the most marginal to society. Yeah. Okay. As we mentioned in reference to text number 9 and 10, okay, The actual Radha Kund is transcendental, accessible internally. We have to go to the transcendental platform and see the original Radha Kund and bathe there once. Of course, it is still so important to go to the visible Radha Kund in India. If you are lucky, one drop of water from the gopis and Krishna's water sports will escape and hit you, and you will feel emotions, real love, so intensely for one moment, that you will want to feel them again and again. And they go into the purport. So yeah, it's talking about the Radha Kund where the sand is made of diamonds, diamond dust, and there are pink swans floating in it. It's describing this, and there are cool breezes. Have you gone to that Radha Kund? No. Yeah, it's like somebody coming out of the jungle, and he grabs you and says, "I want music." You say, "Well, give me music." Okay. You see, he goes down there, there's a music store, and the guy scaring the guy, and the guy gives him a CD, and he goes back to tell the people in the jungle, "I have music." Yeah. So I've been to Radha Kund. Yeah, it is. It's not the formalities and the external things that happen, and once you get to Vrindavan, the external things are under the control of the internal potency. Somebody steals your purse, they run down the road in Washington, D.C. and go right into the Italian embassy. Can the police, New York City Police Department, follow them? That is not a part of the United States of America. That is a part of Italy. Yeah. So once you cross the border from Kushikal, you're not in Uttar Pradesh, wherever you are. No, you're in Vrindavan. So whatever happens there, okay, if you want to go to the Italian embassy and eat American food, okay, we'll arrange it. But why don't you eat Italian food? You're in the Italian embassy, So if you want to go to Vrindavan and have material consciousness, okay, we'll arrange it for you, And also some things you may not be ready for them, okay, so then we'll, But, it's like Prabodhananda Saraswati says, I know many great gurus, I know many great scriptures, but as far as I'm concerned, there's no teacher like Vrindavan Da. Yeah, you've been there? You've been there, right? Yeah, did you have experiences? Prabhupada says, control your senses. When you start to lose control of your senses, get out. Yeah. Because you're dealing with Krishna. Yeah. Vrindavan Da. Yeah. So that's it. Okay, maybe we're going to all go to bed here too. Okay, yeah. What time is it? Kitnabaji.
10 till 8.
Huh?
10 till 8. 7:50.
7:50. Okay, 10 to 8. Sorry, yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah. What is your name, Prabhu?
Naveen Sham.
Naveen Sham.
The lawyer.
Wow. Yeah, the lawyer.
I was thinking about the prayas.
Okay.
Or endeavor.
Yeah. Achahara prayas sashcha. What verse is that?
I'm curious. Is that third?
Third verse.
Yeah.
Well, the second verse.
Second?
Second verse, yeah.
So I'm curious. I'm going to see what it says in the book.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
10 minutes from now. But as a preview,
Yeah.
I mean, one could say as far as grahastas, I mean, if you just like a percent of time spent on an
Yeah.
average day,
Yeah.
okay, percent on Krishna conscious activities,
Yeah.
percent on just economic development to
Yeah.
make sure we don't
Yeah.
starve or get wet in the rain or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, one could say that's prayas, right? So
Uh-huh.
much effort just for stuff that's our
Yeah.
karma and
Yes.
so little.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
This is one of the 14,000 common questions. And our answer is, we will ask the ladies, how many saris is too many sorry? You there.
There's no limit to it.
Okay. At what point will you look in a lady's closet and say, honey, you have too many saris? Yeah? No? Prabhupada says, want to know? Prabhupada says, the ordinary girl will not be satisfied with less than 2 to 3 dozen saris. Okay? But some of them you never, some of them you never wear them, right? Yeah. But it's, it's hanging in the closet. It's nice, yeah. So I asked that question, and Mother Uttama up in Canada, she's Pujari and everything else, and she laughed and she said, it depends if she's a Pujari or not. Yeah, because if you're pujari, then you always have to have clean sari. So that's the basic principle. Whatever is your service. I have one friend, Jai Krishna Das. He's a business guy. He manages like maybe 35, 40 people, has this thing. And he showed me he had 6 expensive suits, right? You know. So why did he have, he said because when the employees, Chanikabana says the same thing. He's a lawyer, right? When you're in front of the boss, he's got to look like the boss. You've got to feel like, okay, this is part of his job. But why did he have 6 rather than 5? Because if he had 5, then the employees would start to figure out he only had 5. Because when you stay of the week, he said 6, it forces it's like, yeah. But then he showed me his ties, and he had like unlimited number of ties, and he said, this I don't really need, you know. But yeah, for my job, I need, you know, $600 to $200, $300 suits and stuff. Because as soon as you walk in, yeah, lawyer, right? You go in front of the judge expects, right? Everybody to look like the thing. Yeah. So that's basically the determining factors. What's your service? Prabhupada says a Kshatriya cannot do his job without good dress, social prestige, and weapons. Right? When he shows up, he's dressed, he's got weapons, he's got prestige in society. Then he can say, hey, no, come, sit down, get out of the way. You know, and it's like, okay, you know, you're the man of the moment. Later on, we'll sort it out. Yeah. Okay. Devotee coming in. Jai. Hare Krishna. Other questions or comments? Any more? Yes, sir. Yes.
I also want to say we have a book on the verses, just the verses cited in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sriram published that.
I know. I saw it.
Yeah, so it's a small book with the Sanskrit and the English translation.
Yeah.
Just all the verses.
Because
cited.
in here we have all, you know, all the verses cited. You can look at them. It's nice. You go through, refresh them. Then we extracted that, his brother, and there was one little pocket book. So you can pull it out. Yeah, it's nice. You know, just it depends who you're preaching to and everything else, right? The kind of people you got to talk to, you know. I mean, I tell people, there's four nutshell verses in the Bhagavad Gita. You know what the verse number is? 10:8. Yeah, 108. Yeah, now you always remember. Yeah, 10:8, 108. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartite yati matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samanvita madchita magata prana bodhyantas paraskaram katamischa mamyacha tushanti charamanti cha teisham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dudami buddhi pogam tam yena mam upayantate Tesham eva nu kampatam ahamajnanam tamaha nasyam labhavasto jnanadipena vaspata. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this is the essence. So if you memorize those 4 verses, you'll be able to cite them in any circumstance to support what you're saying. And 90% chance that nobody will notice you only know 4 verses. Oh, she always knows the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, they are. You go into the purports and those things are just incredible with 4 verses. Yeah. So I don't know anybody. Yeah. So we did this, and I mean, to me, I'm satisfied. This is all I want. All I wanted to do is, you know, one book, you know, fit in the thing, and this came out very well. It was a whole group effort, and quite some time to do it. Everything else, and it's not by me. It's the Anjana Sudha Academy, which is Radhika Raman contributed, Tom Brown and Buck White contributed, so many people, Sugopi. And then we were discovering there's different people have comments and things like that. Satsvarup Maharaj was there. Another devotee too, I forgot who, Rishikesh. It was Rishikesh and Nanda. He said that what happened was he saw this at the Gaudiya Math, the Upadeshamrita, and he wanted Prabhupada to translate it and maybe a little commentary. And Prabhupada said, "I'm so busy." But he kind of like pestered it, and Prabhupada said, "All right, you come in the afternoon and write it down. And Mother Narayani can type it up, like that and so on." So because of him, we got it. But I have a suspicion that if you go through all of Prabhupada's books and extract where he says, and Rupa Goswami says in this verse, you could actually make up, you know, an entire nectar of instruction just by extracting all those things. So you see it quoted many times. What is the verse that Prabhupada quotes the most out of the Upadeshamrita? Huh? Yeah. So Utsahan Nischayat. Yeah. So are there any final questions or comments? Here it is. La última comentario o pregunta, which in Spanish, that's how you say it in Spanish, which in English would translate literally as, now Mr. Bhagavan will ask the ultimate question, after which there can be no more questions. Why do you cut your hair that way? Yeah. What's the mark on your forehead? And the third one is, are women abused in your movement? Okay, yeah. They're abused everywhere. Why should we be special? Yeah.
The definition in the Nectar of Instruction about Uttamadhikari,
Yeah.
one definition that I read, said that an Uttamadhikari is just somebody who always wants to spread the Krishna consciousness movement.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of devotees.
And that's not the only thing. He's describing, he says, Uttamadhikari is blah, 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 blah. He is always thinking about putting together new ways and everything to spread the Krishna's consciousness movement. That's one of the things, yeah. Another one is, what? He does, what was it go? Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyet dikshasti che pranatavischa bhajatam isham shushushvaya bhajana vigyam ananya anya nindadi sunyavridim apsita sangalabhya. His heart is completely free from the propensity to criticize other people. He doesn't like it yet. He doesn't like it. Very advanced in following the rules and regulation. What else we got? Yeah. And has developed logic. Right? Madhyamadhikari may know scriptural. Krishnadhikari doesn't know. Madhyamadhikari follows the process, everything else, but they don't have good scriptural basis what they're doing. They haven't got it organized. They have faith in the process. When you come to Uttamadhikari, then your scriptures are, you know from the scriptures. You have your resources, you think. Then you have a lot of things, 4 verses, but you got your scriptural connection clearly. And you've developed a logic of putting them together nicely. And everybody's going to have a whole different thing in terms of how old you are, different whatever. You're going to have your own particular logical universe that you deal with reality, okay? And so then Uttamadhikari, it deals with all, intellectually you can deal with situations, yeah? I remember I was standing behind the table in the Bhaktivedanta Institute, 84 Carl Street, one day. I've been a devotee maybe for 7 years, and I suddenly realized that I was always happy. I was like, yeah. Well, yeah, something would hit me, then my intelligence would just respond and go, yeah. Something else, yeah. You see that? It's happening. Your intelligence just, becomes so developed. Then, it goes on developing more and more. It takes you beyond the Vaikuntha. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So that's one of the characteristics. Scriptural knowledge. How's your scriptural knowledge? I know one verse you know. Sariva Vijaya Jitendriya. It's quoted. Right? Yeah. That's at the time of death. That's the verse that most likely will take us back home to Godhead. Yeah. Sariva Vijaya. I'm coming. Yeah. So here, little kirtan, right? Yeah. In kartals. Okay. Yeah. So Lord Chaitanya was traveling in the Jarikanda forest. And he was chanting this mantra. And all the monkeys and deer and birds and everybody else started singing and dancing. Okay? So be careful how you chant this mantra, because you may create havoc in society. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna 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 Raksha Mam. Krishna 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 Raksha Mam. Krishna 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 Pahi Mam. Krishna 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 Pahi Mam. Krishna Krishna Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshamam. Krishna 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 Pahi Mam. Krishna 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 Pahi Mam. Krishna 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 Hey. Krishna 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 Raksha Mam. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Whoa! Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare. Whoa! Hare Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Srimati Radharani ki jai. Back home, back to God. Hare Krishna.
I wanted to mention one quick thing, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, yes, please.
So, Maharaj has been studying the Nectar of Instructions for 50 years now.
Oh, yeah?
Prabhupada in his preface signs the Nectar of Instruction on September 20th, 1975 on Vishwarup Mahotsav. And then
75.
we were in Houston in 2021. It was not planned.
95.
That's the 1 week I had to go and work and finishing up the book.
15.
And in 2021, September 20th was Vishwarup Mahotsav. That's when Maharaj signed his preface.
I did it on purpose. And it's also the anniversary of Prabhupada's sannyas. And so when Prabhupada was signing it on that date, he must have been quite conscious of the fact that it was the anniversary of his sannyas. It's also the anniversary of, when Vishwarup, Chaityanya's older brother, took sannyas and so on. So it's a very special date. Yeah.
But the date was the exact date.
Yeah.
September 20th
Oh,
in
yeah.
1975
Oh,
was
yeah.
Vishwarup Mahotsav, and then September 20th
Oh, was it
in
also?
2021 was
Wow,
Vishwarup Mahotsav.
that
So it
was
was
awesome.
same date and
On
the
the
same tithi.
Julian calendar also.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, what is that? That's something different, yeah. No, because my sannyasa initiation was from Bhakti Swarup Damodar on his Vyasa Puja in Hyderabad, which is Udana Shasti. Yeah, a little different, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you see so many things happening like this. If you're actually a scientist, you're going to, I mean, it's happened. So many senior scientists have come to the conclusion that there really seems to be, some kind of implicit order and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There does seem to be somebody in control here. Okay. And it's a large red pig with a stick. Okay. Yeah.
So I have about 15 copies here. If you want, I can give you a copy. It's $10 on Amazon, so you can get the book for $10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And it's also available on Kindle now. We just published it
Yeah, yeah.
a few days back on Maharaja Vyasa.
Oh, it's interesting. Wow.
Kindle version.
No, it's interesting to see how the diacritics and everything and the footnotes will come in. Yeah.
It's come out very good.
Okay, well, yeah. Wow, it's amazing. Wow. Look at myself traveling and everything else. I want to use it, but I have basically my personal item on the airplane that has everything I need for 3 days, stay and stuff. And so, I just won't fit. Can't even carry my own book. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But they're asking if you can sign them.
$1.75.
A bargain, a bargain.
We take Zella. Zella? Yes. Yeah. 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 Well, yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Nice. You have a nice house. Yeah. Yeah. It's tilting a little bit, but other than that, makes it seem personal. Wow. Oh, where's the attic? Where's that go? That goes to Vaikuntha?
Just the attic.
The attic. Vaikuntha, right?